So when are we going to have enough homes? Because you would agree the inventory overall is not what the demand is. There's still more demand than inventory for new homes. Is that
That's a
accurate?
fair statement.
It is.
When will we have enough homes? What's clogging us up?
I mean, I will say from my perspective, I still think there's a little bit of apprehension out there. I think
on your builder's part?
Well, yeah, but part of it too, Casey, is what happened is during the downturn, it gave the municipalities a lot of opportunities to rethink how they wanted to do business with builders. And so what used to take, a few months to get permits for developing property now can take a year or more. There's a lot more red tape, there's a lot more cost involved. So we're seeing what's clogging the system a little bit is just the municipalities we're working with not as easy to work with as they have been in the past. So that's slowing the system down. We've got, everybody has a short memory. It hasn't been that long ago before we went through the downturn. So that's kind of in the back of everyone's minds. We got to get geared up a little bit. Land shortages, there's not a lot of land out there. It's harder and harder to find land to build on. So
because it feels like we were willing to build all the way to Jefferson City and the other side of Illinois. I'm surprised to hear that there's a shortage of land.
There is. There's a shortage of land because, again, keep in mind, we're talking about this central corridor and how hot it is, but it's already built out. There's already, municipalities there that have been there for years. So if you look at that central corridor, it's harder and harder to find land there. And like I said, St. Charles County is still hot. Lincoln, Franklin, Jefferson County, you can still find good opportunities out there. But it's just taking longer and costing more to develop the land as well, and that's kind of clogging the system up.
Well, speaking of kind of the range of the proximity and the regional kind of where the land are the appetites changing. We've talked about Realtor.com. So this is Jonathan Smoke, the chief economist at Realtor.com. He's quoted as saying in the Post-Dispatch, young people are not looking for new construction in the suburbs. Do you see that in your work?
I don't see that.
I see the millennials looking all over St. Louis. Some of them do want to go to West County, some of them like St. Charles, but others like the downtown high-rise lifestyle. So it's really hard to characterize that one generation. They are a huge generation, though.
And I guess we need them for this whole system to keep working.
Absolutely. And Chris alluded to this earlier. Millennials, that old stereotype that they're going to live in the parents' basement forever, that's not true. The data does not support that. They want to invest in their communities. They want a certain lifestyle. They want walkability scores. That's why they love Kirkwood.
Exactly.
And they do want to be homeowners.
And they're looking for homes that have the open floor plans. They're looking for homes that fit their lifestyle today. That's one of the reasons that I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with that statement. I think they do want to buy new construction because I get phone calls and emails from them all the time talking about, what is it going to take to build a home, and, so they're out there and they want to build. It's just helping educate them and having them understand the process and helping them with their, the credit and getting the loans and going through the process and everything.
Do you see a proximity to the central corridor as a desirable factor?
Yeah, I mean, we just did 219 loans with Wells Fargo in a 6-month period. They had a down payment subsidy program, and we could have done probably 1,000. And folks were saying, and it was all buying in the city of St. Louis, and literally there was, both sides of the central corridor. We saw lots of activity, lots of folks wanting again to get their piece of the American dream. And I think something, back to your earlier comment about appreciation over time. Yes, people are worried about what's their house going to be worth at the long stage. Most folks aren't thinking about that when they're going through the process. They're like, I love the house, I can't wait to move in, my neighbors, and all this other emotional stuff. That, of course, it's important that it appreciates over time. But people aren't thinking, oh no, boy, what's going to be worth in 30 years from now? They're thinking, I love this home for all the right emotional reasons and for other practical reasons. I like the schools, I like the neighborhood. It's close to things that are important to me. So again, I think sometimes people overanalyze, right? Oh, I bought this home simply as an investment. Well, yeah, I want it to be investment. I don't want it to lose value. But they're also not making some. They don't have the Pulitzer Prize, economists in the family saying, I'm not sure if that's a good thing to do. You should take that money and.
They're more interested in the next month's budget, maybe, or the 12 months budget than they are generational wealth.
Home is an emotional thing, right? Yes, it means so much in your life in terms of the context of who you are as a person, how it prepares you for the rest of your life. So yes, there's a whole lot of statistics and data we can put out there, but again, when we think about home, and we believe in this idea that home matters, and yes, it's about the roof where you live, but it's the life in and around where you live, right? So when I grew up, I remember, playing ball with my friends and going to the park. I remember riding my bike. I remember the neighbors, right? I remember all those kinds of things, not just the physical structure itself.
And Chris is absolutely right. There's not a one-size-fits-all as far as what people are looking for, because some people do want to live a little bit further out and in a subdivision kind of atmosphere or neighborhood. Some people want to live in the central corridor where they can walk to restaurants and walk to transportation. We're finding that, that there's just a lot of opportunity out there because there's such a diverse group that wants to live in different areas. And I think that's why you see construction expanding west and construction very busy in the city of St. Louis and St. Louis County and in all over that central corridor.
John, we have just about a minute left, a little bit less actually. Tell me what you see for the rest of this year. We're off to if we're off to a great start. I know you're an optimistic guy in an optimistic profession, but give us as true a read as you possibly can.
Well, things are already lined up as a seller's market in St. Louis for different, just the demand is outpacing the supply. New construction is going to help. Definitely, it takes a while for that to catch up. We're certainly looking for that. Also, sellers are wondering if I'm going to sell, I'll probably make a good amount of money, but where am I going to live? If I've got to have a place to move to. One thing about the first-time home buyers, what Chris does with his organization is great. St. Louis Association of Realtors, we're involved. We're trying to get involved in revitalizing communities, helping Chris and other partners. But first-time buyers need the right education so that they can not only buy the home, but also keep it.
I'll stop you there. I have to say that we want to take a second. There's a special event next week. Friday and Saturday evening, we'll be showing the marathon session of the 14-part civil rights documentary, Eyes on the Prize. It will broadcast on air as well in the public media commons outside the station. We'll have a special. Stay tuned to celebrate it.